those who have had a near-death experience, George Gallup said there's probably 11 to 13 million Americans that have had a near-death experience, that these folks have had a positive experience, and now they're saying, hey, I don't fear death anymore. But unfortunately, in the experiences that are coming forth, there are some that we would call bad experiences, hell experiences. And one of my guests is here with us. And Howard, set this up for our audience.
I was a professor of art and the head of the art department at Northern Kentucky University. I liked my job very much. It was a lot of responsibility, very rewarding, a lot of fun, and real ego fulfilling, which was what my whole life was about, was, you know, career, job, be somebody, get your name in the paper, you know.
And you were also known as a skeptic.
Right. I was well known, in fact, that some people brought their relatives to me to talk them out of going into the ministry and in the priesthood.
And you did.
Uh-huh.
And so, as you were cruising along, chairman of the department and so on, you took your students to France, and what happened over there?
At the end of our trip in 1985, I had a perforation of the small stomach, and I was immediately taken to a hospital. This is a situation like a burst appendix, same kind of situation. You only have a few hours of opportunity before it becomes very grave. It's a critical scene. I thought I was dying. My wife thought I was dying. We had said goodbye to each other. And I awoke, and I was standing next to the bed, and in the bed was a body that looked exactly like me, but I couldn't believe it because I felt alive, whole, real, no pain though. I tried to communicate with my wife. She couldn't see me or hear me, but I didn't know that. I thought she was ignoring me. I got furious with her. I'm really confused about what's going on. And I hear people calling me outside the room. And so I go over to the doorway of the room, and there's a number of people out there, and I ask them if they're the hospital staff to take me for the operation, and they said that they'd been waiting for me a long time, that I needed to hurry up and come with them. I assumed that meant they were hospital staff. I went into the hallway. It was foggy, dreary, mysterious. These people herded me down this hallway. We walked for what seemed like miles and miles. It got increasingly dark. The people were getting increasingly ugly and cruel. And I wanted out, so I said, I'm not going any further. They started to push and pull at me. I fought back. I felt really strong and healthy, no fatigue whatsoever, but they were biting and tearing and taunting and jeering. The cacophony of noise was almost unbearable. It was so loud with their taunts and their yells and their laughter.
When did you realize you weren't in the hospital, this was something else?
At this point, I still think I'm in the hospital. As far as I'm concerned, I'm alive, and these people are some monsters that live in this hospital, you know. Mm-hmm. I'm on the ground of that place. They've done so much damage to me that I'm just curled up, lying on the ground, totally devastated physically, and even worse, emotionally, because of their treatment. And I hear myself say, pray to God. I don't know what to do, and I don't believe in God, and I hear myself say it again. I'm not willfully saying it, but I'm hearing my own voice say, pray to God. And I think, how do you pray to God? What would you pray if you were going to pray a third time? With more authority, I hear, pray to God. So, okay, I'm going to give it a try. I don't know what to do. So I'm trying to piece together prayers, and I'm putting together pieces of the Pledge of Allegiance, the Lord's Prayer, the 23rd, any things that I can remember from 20, 30 years earlier when I was a kid. And the people around me are horrified. It's as if my prayers are scalding, boiling oil. And they're screaming and yelling at me, stop it, there's no God, nobody can hear me. This is when I realized this is not Paris anymore. This is, I don't know where I am, but there's no place on earth with this much cruelty. And in that state of like hopelessness, because there's no place for me to go, they're going to come back, they're going to make it worse, I heard in my mind myself as a little child singing, Jesus loves me, Lord. And it goes over and over and over. And in my desperation, I want to believe. I don't know Jesus, but I want to know this. What this little boy knows is trustworthy and good, that I've forgotten, that I've lost, that I had once when I was a little kid. And I want to know that. And so in utter despair but sincerity, I call out into the darkness, Jesus, please save me. And I meant it. Ignorant, but I meant it. And with that, a small light appeared to the darkness, and a person of incredible brilliant light and love and kindness came upon me and carried me out of that place of horror and took me not to heaven, 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 not to heaven.
Heaven is, this is such a poor way to describe it, but it is the fun center of the universe.
But you never actually went to heaven.
No, no.
You were in some other...
So with that in mind, you did go to heaven.
So did you see heaven in front of you?
Yeah.
I know a lot of people have talked about that field, the grassy field that's in front of heaven. Did you see anything like that? How did you?
Oh, yeah. Jesus gave me a tour of heaven, and it's full of everything that one could possibly ever hope for. Everything that's good is there, and it's all beautiful.
Did you
There's
see people?
nothing bad about heaven.
Did you see people in heaven?
Oh, yeah. But I didn't get to interact because Jesus and I were getting a tour.
At that point, how did you?
Oh, yeah. Jesus gave me a tour of heaven.
How did you?
Oh, yeah. Jesus gave me a tour of heaven.
How did you?
Oh, yeah. Jesus gave me a tour of heaven.
How did you?
Oh, yeah. Jesus gave me a tour of heaven.
How did you?
Oh, yeah. Jesus gave me a tour of heaven. So we had a long conversation with me trying to argue to go to heaven and him convincing me that that just wasn't happening right now. And the bottom line was the final argument where he defeated me was, well, what do you want me to do if I go back? And he said, love the person that you're with.